This is Secrets to Win Big, your roadmap to sustained growth. Brought to you by Arjun Sen, founder and CEO of Zen Mango, brand whisperer, top brand growth driver, and a former Fortune 500 executive who has been called one of the most marketing intelligent minds in the business. Find him at zenmango.com. And now, here's your host, Arjun Sen.
Welcome to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen. This is Arjun welcoming you to this episode of Secrets to Win Big, where it's truly my honor and pleasure to bring to you amazing conversations that puts us all on the path to win big. Winning is fun. I love to win. But what I've found is winning big takes it to a next level. It helps you sustain those wins. And in the corporate world, having the momentum and inertia to win big is huge. One of the things I've found is we are all different, which means our individual paths to win big are different. That's the reason I bring to you conversations with leaders from all over the world and on all walks of life. In that spirit, today I'm really excited to bring to you conversation with Chithrai S. Money. Chithrai is a hands-on visionary technology leader driving innovation and transformation of Fortune 500 companies to shape their digital future. In his current role, he is the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer at InfoVision, one of the fastest growing product engineering and digital transformation partners. Clients Chitra has impacted during his career include 7-Eleven, Verizon, Halliburton, TransCore, RCBS, AA, FES, Primero Edge, Gulf Oil, Spacetail, and CEC. Before I share a little more, one of the things I just want to point to all of us today is this whole track of having an impact with not one major brand, but with all these brands over a long period of time. That to me is something that is very fascinating. I also want to probe and understand more about the whole balance of technology and innovation for this really diverse group of brands and how Chithrai sustained it. Chithrai also is a very prolific speaker. He being a thought leader, he always shares and he's always sought after for where both categories of digital transformation and information technology is moving, that too from an application point of view. He has been a speaker at Artificial Intelligence Conference at UT Dallas, RPS Summit in New York City, Chicago, and Dallas, Blockchain Technology Summit in Denver, Digital Assurance Summit. Chithrai also is a member of Forbes Technology Council, CompTIA's Artificial Intelligence Advisory Council. Chithrai, that is a very impressive resume, Chithrai. Congratulations, my friend, on a career of delivering big wins for your clients, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Arjun. Thanks for the invite, and it was pleasure working with you before. And as a thought leader yourself, you have been doing a wonderful job bringing a lot of leaders and one platform and sharing their thoughts to the industry. Really great job. All the best. I'm really enjoying with you, watching your shows, and keep going.
So thank you. So we don't have to do anything more to that. Chithrai Money called me and told me I'm doing a great job. So what do we need to ask? I'm just kidding, Chithrai. This is amazing. So Chithrai, let's get serious right away because the impact you're making are with big brands, and it's not easy to get through and deliver because you're competing with some of the top brands, not in US, but globally, to get these contracts, but also fulfilling year to year. So the first question I really want to understand is for any new client with that huge variety, how do you rapidly align your client to your client's goals and needs? How do you start? What's your starting point?
That's a very good question. If you talk about every service industry is trying to solve their customer problems, that is their job, right? But if you are a differentiator, then only you can win the competition. And my experience and my suggestion would be, normally everyone try to understand the problem is the first state kind of analysis, right? When after analysis, we categorize the customers into four buckets. If you talk about the first customer set of customer will come under, they will do discovery and look for how we can introduce new revenue channel. And second set of customers always looking for how they can improve their customer base using their existing channels. And the third set of customer always come to us saying that, hey, we need to innovate and by solving operational and customer pain points. And the fourth set of customers will come and say that, hey, we are looking for vision and strategically how to execute digital transformation. These are the four bucket we categorize the customers. And we should not just look the customer as a customer. We should step into their shoes and understand their customer segmentation data is very important when you drive for them. That is the way we have to work with the new customer and aligning to their goals and needs. I just don't want to go and talk about the technology, what we are doing, not like the law. We should understand the customer segmentation, the business impacts, and what is their ROI, weak and strength, everything you should understand before getting deeper.
So to me, that's really fascinating because even though you're primarily in a B2B world, what you just shared is relevant for all of us in the B2B and B2C world. And to me, I think, this is what fascinated me right away is Chithrai is not looking at all customers or clients to be exactly the same. He is right away based on client needs, compartmentalizing in the four boxes, which are totally different and unique. But the second part also is putting himself in the client's shoes, because to me, I really think that that's a huge aha about the first step. Because, as my grandma, my Maiji always taught me that a great beginning is a great part in the journey that you've already accomplished. So to me, that was a great insight. So Chithrai, what is your strategy to always deliver now that you have had a great start, compartmentalized, segmented clients, to deliver on the client needs every time?
When you talk about the delivery is a crucial point to maintain the relationship between the customer and the partner. And that perspective, I would like to follow the fourth strategy of saying that analysis, ideate, prototype and test. This is the fourth strategy. When you talk about analysis, that is what the major gap coming between the industry, right? So when you do the analysis, you should get into the deeper problem of the customer with the help of a domain expert. That is a major differentiation I'm seeing here. When you go with the domain expert, the person who can understand the problem of the industry and the pain problem of the customers well, and it's more forecasted, he can reach the goal easily. That is one of the key points we have to maintain always when you do analysis. And the second thing is you have to check the strength and weakness of the customer. They may be, what is their technology strength? What is their infrastructure strength? What is the skill set strength? All you have to completely evaluate and then approach the solution, different kind of solutions to them, right? So when you approach a different kind of solutions, and you should have alternative solutions as well, 3 to 4. And based on that, you should go for center of excellence, bring your center of excellence team and solve the problem. This is what the way we maintain the delivery with our customer, aligned with their expectation and needs.
So Chithrai, I just really loved your first part when I asked about delivery, and you right away defined delivery to be the relationship you have with the client. Because to me, at the end of our journey, if the relationship is not stronger, if the client doesn't feel way more worth than what you have delivered than what they have paid, it doesn't take into long term. And also it fascinated me on how you talked about the whole analysis part, which is a deeper understanding with the domain experts. Like to me, as I'm starting to look at and listen from a layman's point of view, just to assume and understand that I do not understand the whole problem, let me really get a depth to it. And the second thing in the whole thing, as even though you didn't mention it directly, but what I really was impressed with was this whole concept of patience. You are not right away sitting with a battery of 15 different technology solutions and boom, pressing number 3 and then 2 by saying, no, you are literally using technology as a tool, but you are actually a problem solver. And that's really unique in this particular phase. So Chithrai, I just want to really lighten the conversation before we go any further to ask you, if you were not following this current career path of incredibly fascinating, impact with big brands, what would be the role in life? What would you like to have achieved? What would you like to do?
I'm more interested in more media industry. I
Mhm.
could have been a actor, so that is I'm passionate about it. But the career goal routed me into this direction. Uh, but still, if it get a chance, I would like to go in that direction.
So Chitra, I really wish you well in that. And if you do, just remember, Arjun is available to play comedian, villain, anything you want, I can go through. And I even have some coupon offers that I can talk to you and get to you. So thank you for sharing this. Okay. And the reason I wanted to get that question is to show how Chithrai looks at everything as a human being. And many a time the B2B world for us gets very serious and we just forget that on the other side is a human being who's evaluating and still needs a relationship. So Chithrai, in your speaking, and congratulations, you have been very prolific in speaking at mega events. You have talked about future readiness in a natural progression of core belief of using technology as an enabler. Can you separate those things and help me understand for future readiness is and what technology as an enabler is, and how do you get brands to big wins?
It's a very good question, Arjun, because nowadays the future readiness is the most of the leaders are looking for, and some of them are missing. That is what the fail is happening. And when you talk about the future readiness, what I mentioned, and technology, upgrading technology is not future readiness. I would like to clearly define here. Being ready for the future for changes, which is accelerating now, is the important thing we used to call future readiness. And when you call future readiness, you should blend the combination of uh, technology, business, context, and innovation. If you are missing any of this one pillar, you are not ready for the future readiness. That's what I would like to call. I would like to have some of the example what we have done it in that side a little bit. Some of the retail customer we started 4 years before on the digital transformation perspective. They would like to a little bit go on cloud, right? That was booming at the time. And we also could have gone for normal server deploying the application. But the way a little bit we tweaked into go for serverless architecture, which is very new at the time. And it helped the customer to ship the product quickly because less operational cost, less pricing than old fashion infrastructure. And that gives a different perception to the customer. And we help the customer in a blending of operational technology and innovation perspective that is made more meaningful. And if you talk about, I would like to call one more example as well. One of the customer would like to go for a contactless cafeteria solution to serve the people.
Mhm.
So we enabled a computer vision based solution can track the people and that means track the items and pay it automatically. So if you see all both use cases, the technology is the enabler, definitely, but it solves the business problem, right? That is
Mhm.
what if you have to solve the business problem innovatively using technology. So three is back to back, it will go together.
So let me ask you two follow-up questions. One is you talked about blending four things. It was technology, business, context, and what was the fourth part?
No,
Readiness.
it's pretty much three innovation as well.
Okay, and that innovation. Okay, and let me talk a little bit more about the cafeteria. And that really fascinates me because now you are making an impact into the world one person at a time. At the end of the solution, what did the client, again, stay, I'm not asking you to go into confidential areas. How did the world, the life of the client's end customer change because of Chitra and your team?
So it is not some of the customer, we created a big impact based on the innovative solution, right?
Mhm.
So end of the day, your customer experience is your end goal, right?
Got it.
So I always look for how you have to improve your customer experience. By the way,
Mhm.
for example, yesterday the customer experience was you have to get into the store, buy some item, and today the trend is a little bit different because of the COVID situation. You
Got it.
have to, people are looking for how I can be contactless or virtual model of buying this items. So I always preference to let them to go for focus on what is the current trend and demand and which is needed for your customer and improve that area using technology and innovation. That is the way we also help to them. For example, in our innovation lab, we built a solution which helps the customer in going for contactless buying model, right? We
Mhm.
started thinking now, because it's more using computer vision, multi-technology, just side part of it. But still, we started focusing on for our customer, right? Our customer, for us, they are our customer. For our customer, the real customer is the customer. So we have to always think about a customer, how we can make them successful and satisfied.
Love that. And you use the word trend. I really want to go to long-term trend, but before I want to talk about something which is here and changed all our worlds is
Mhm.
during COVID-19 crisis. Okay, what is your advice on digital transformation to big and small organizations so they can emerge out of this more as winners, not survivors? Because I find quite a few organizations are either waiting for the world to change as if it will change automatically and will be out of the bad dream, or they just merely want to survive. So, what can they do in digital transformation with Chitrai's advice to come out as winners?
We have been going through both small and big customers. We are helping them, no doubt. And the strategy, what you are asking, is very important at this moment because of the COVID situation. Each and lot of companies like Macy's, Neiman Marcus, a lot of companies are not able to survive because of the model of sales is changed completely. So I would always suggest the client that you have to focus on consistently improving your customer experience by the way of, as I mentioned before, it can be augmented reality model, it can be contactless model, or it's going to voice based model, anything. Keep the consistency of improving your customer experience the end goal, then you can be coming the boundary of survivor to the winning state. For example, one of the customer, we built a augmented reality based upselling model through the mobile. So it gives the same experience like how you are doing to the store and it's looking at the item and what is the value of it, what is the promotion of it. You can see the real value, right? The same experience we brought it to the mobile. It really got a good hit. So that helps a lot for the customer to win, right? Instead of survival in the period. So I will always go for the new trend, the business context perspective, and adapt the technology as an enabler.
And something, Chitra, you said is very unique. I have heard people talk about focus on customer experience. I've heard people talk about improvement of customer experience. But what you talked about was consistency of improvement of customer experience, right away hitting me by saying, Arjun, with customer experience, you cannot take a one-time improvement and tell customers, hey, I improved it, remember, 4 years, 7 days back. That whole consistency of improvement of customer experience, I really think is a very unique concept. So, Chitra, what are some, what's one major trend, you know, and again, it's tough to see beyond COVID-19. If you see beyond COVID-19, one major trend in digital transformation that businesses must be aware of as they move forward and get to what you're talking about, the focus on consistency of improvement of customer experience.
We have been working for lots of customers now. We know the trend very clearly, what everyone is looking for, and that I could quickly share with you all. And especially when you talk about the common trend across the digital transformation, enabling the technology and investing next generation solution for your future customer experience is the important thing now going on. And so enabling a technology is a common trend across digital transformation, relevant to the next generation solution for the customer experience focus.
So we have talked a lot about digital transformation, and one of the things is, it personally, sometimes I get baffled to see people from marketing to any kind of IT solution, they just use digital transformation to be this overall blanket. It's just like it become, instead of copying, we are using Xerox. It has become like such a misleading overall umbrella. So what's a common misconception about digital transformation you would love to, break the myth or debunk?
This is very, very interesting question to me because I have been hearing the same word from a lot of people. What is the reality of digital transformation? When the decade starts, people thought of if you bring everything into mobile, that is digital transformation, right? So then people thought of if you move to cloud, that is digital transformation. And there is a lot of misconception about the digital transformation. But one of the important points I would like to call out today, people are thinking if you change the technology, that meaning you are into digital transformation, right? And some of them are thinking if you can still do digital transformation without changing the skill set, tool set, and mindset of the people. That is also completely wrong. And the third one, very, very important to the success of digital transformation is cultural adaptation. If you are not changing the culturally adapting to the digital transformation, the sense from waterfall model to agile, how you had to execute your organization, right? So that will be a big failure. It's one of the important points. For example, GE, Ford, they mentioned that they failed in digital transformation and they communicated the reason also why, because the communication between the people from top to bottom didn't go well, right? In the sense, the vision has to come from the top to bottom. It is not from bottom to top. That is the biggest game changer in the digital transformation. And that cultural fit has to be guided properly into the company. That will help a lot. And people are thinking without all this, you can still achieve the digital transformation. And they are still, some of them are thinking you can go for mobile and agile, still digital transformation. When you talk about digital transformation, you should think little globalization as well. That is one of the key factors people are missing when they're enabling digital transformation in the company. So I would suggest this kind of important misconception. People are still not getting it. I'm strongly bringing that point here.
I'm really glad I asked this question because the first part I thought was little obvious when you talked about it is more than technology change. Yes, Arjun going from iPhone 10 to 11 is not digital transformation. But the part which I really felt was very, hit home was when you connected it to cultural adaptation. Because to me, I really think that you really, and then you talked about globalization because customers today are linked globally. So if one aspect of my life changes, it impacts everything. Or if my brother in India or my best friend in Hong Kong tells me about the world is changing, it changes my perception. So to me, I think that whole HR part of culture in the organization, how to guide the organization. So to me, I really think you elevated the conversation to a really high level by talking about that and also globalization. So you're listening to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen, and today my VIP guest is Chithrai Mani, Chief Technology and Innovation Officer. I also would say Strategy Officer, and also I would say Customer Experience, Consistency of Improvement Officer, because I tally words, and Chithrai has already used the word customer experience more than nearly a lot of branding people I've talked to. Okay, it's very fascinating. So he is also one of the fastest growing product engineering and digital transformation partners for mega brands worldwide. So Chitra, now we go to a section which is rapid questions, 3 to 7 word answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Arjun. You are threatening me. Looks like.
It's a soft threat. Let me just. No, I think this is very important in busy people's lives that way. So the first question for you is, let's go beyond digital transformation. Overall, you have talked about you being a leader, you take company, your team to the next level, consistency. So what will your advice be to anyone in any walk of life to be a successful leader?
Very good question. You have to always look for learning and trust your team. These are the two important things as a leader perspective. I would like to convey the message.
Learning and trust. How do you define a big win?
Um, when you when your thought transform to action, that itself I feel big win because even you can take a sample of if I'm able to wake up at 4 o'clock, I'm able to do that. It's a big win for me. So transform to action.
Next is, what's the one big reason companies fail to win big?
Lack of vision to the big picture is the important reason for the failure I see. Most of them are trying to fix the holes wherever the leakage is coming. Hey, fix it here. The small pieces there, fix it there. But a lot of them have missing the piece of vision of how the future of the company is going to drive, what is the way we are going to drive. And the big picture is completely missing. That is what most of the company not relying on the digital transformation and they are feeling and failing as well.
Love that. Lack of vision. You cannot go to where or what you cannot see the bigger picture. And sometimes we caught into more looking back, putting band-aids on and not forcing forward. So in your leadership role, you make big impact hires. So when hiring, what is the one trait that is most important to you in a future leader?
This is very, very important question for my hiring process, including for my team. Arjun. When you call this one trait, I would call accepting the mistakes and learn from that one is the important qualification I would like to look from my team. And they should be passionate about what they are doing. It's not just for 9 to 5 working in the job. These are the two important quality I would like to.
So I have to ask you a follow-up question is why is accepting the mistake so important?
When you accept the mistake, then can be you can be a leader. Okay. For example, Sundar Pichai Google, the Google Chrome before launch date got some kind of message leaked, but he accepted in front of everyone, it's my mistake, right? And still he drove it and it reached the success. As a leader, you should accept the mistake to learn from there and drive it next. You should not just argue on that one.
Thank you, because without accepting the mistake, you're stuck in the past. Got it. So most leaders I talk to, they completely rule out some obstacles from their mind. Top athletes I've talked to, they remove the word dictionary, no from their dictionary. What is a word that's not in Chitrai's dictionary?
I like to call limit is the word, it's not my dictionary.
No, Chithrai plays with no limits. And then, if Chithrai in 2020 could go back in time and meet the young Chithrai just graduating from high school, what would be one advice you would give that kid?
I would definitely I would like to say never look back.
Mhm.
On the important word.
What does never look back mean? Because that Chithrai may not be as smart as you today. So what does never look back mean?
You should not get distracted by what someone is talking behind and who is with you in the competition, all the stuff. You are always getting distracted, right? And so if you look back, something is happening behind you, you are slowing down yourself. So I would like to call out, don't never look back, keep focusing on the front. That's my strong suggestion.
I love the clarification. I really love the clarification. Don't get distracted by things which are irrelevant, and examples are great as what's in the past, what people are saying, just march forward. So finally, Chitra, you're managing, working with a mega team, evolving the team, and you are building long-term relationships with major brands worldwide. It cannot be random. There has to be a process. So is there a first thing, last thing, a ritual that you have, how you start your day and how you finish your day that you want to share?
Oh, very interesting question as well. The first thing every day when I wake up, I feel what I'm going to learn today. So the first thing, always think about it. And the last thing in the day, I always feel I'm getting old because I'm losing a day. So there is, which I don't like it, but still I always think about that as well.
Brilliant. So Chitra, we covered a lot of topics from how you are helping the first thing you do with bigger brands, the process, of course, the second career that would happen. Is if you could be in my shoes, what is one question that you would ask yourself that I did not?
I would like to ask a question. I'm promoting, including, I'm a big fan of technology, no doubt, innovation perspective. But what is the impact of this rising of technology to the global warming? Is one of the
Mhm.
important question I would like to come.
So, Chitra, I now, based on your help, I will look very smart and with a various. That's a brilliant question. So, I think most of us forget that the thing that all of us have is the same Earth. So, based on all these technology changes, what's the impact of global warming, and what can Chitra do to make it a better world?
So definitely, we are not in a state. We are slowly converting now. We are not in a state to completely control the global warming, but controlling the emission of the gas and the heat reduction by the way of, again, we have to fall into the category of innovation. We need to find some alternative solution of the source of energy that helps the global warming to be reduced. And definitely, we cannot go back 1,000 years, go back, get into chariot and driving. It's not going to work out. But still, what is the alternative? Still, a lot of innovation has to come. It's a very broad topic. There is no one answer I can call out because we are the one side. The world is moving towards smart cities, right? All completely technology-based cities we are moving. The other side, the global warming is giving us a red light. So
Mhm.
we have to advance in technology, but it should be the safest technology, not bother the world in the global warming perspective. And still, solar energy is one of the call people are promoting a lot in the solar side. And I'm still trying to see what are the other technologies coming. I'm more excited as an innovator. Trying to look myself what is the solution, some portion of this global warming I can bring it in the future. I definitely very interested in to bring some kind of solution on the one in future.
And I love that. And doing it with consistent improvement to customer experience becomes the key. Chitra, anything else you would like to add? And again, thank you for giving me this amazing question that makes me look so good to ask that question. And that was a very important question. Thank you. Anything else you would love to add before we wrap up this conversation?
Thanks, Arjun. Really, it's wonderful talking with you. I really loved it. Always, I love to talk with you. And just a quick point, I would like to call out to the young leaders. So nowadays, the most of the problem in the industry for the young leaders, they are sitting in their comfort zone. They have to get out of the comfort zone, take risk. People, they have to take risk. Then only there is a lot of innovation and creativity will come into the world. So I always suggest the young leaders come out of the comfort zone, take risk, try to be more innovative and creative, and give some solution to the industry way different than what is going on now.
Thank you, Chitra. This was very fascinating and really a bigger picture conversation, which really took me to a next level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arjun. Yeah.
So I just finished the conversation with Chithrai Mani, and this conversation was, you know, went at a very different and higher direction than I expected. To me, many a time when you talk to somebody who is in digital transformation, starts talking about different techniques, sometimes it's like a little kid, very excited about the newest tool. Okay? What was very fascinating about this conversation and what took it to that different level was Chithrai was all about solving the customer experience problem. He was talking about always that whole thing about not only improvement of customer experience, but consistency of improvement, putting back brands to the on the path where their customers can always expect. It's just like Apple has to bring a new iPhone every year, that expectation of constant improvement, that was very fascinating. Second thing, Chitra, at times I felt that he was just operating the way one of the top marketers on this planet operates, where how his mind segments every customer. Every customer's problem is different. The path is different. And the thing that he really added when I asked about the myth in digital transformation he would break is, how do you take that digital transformation to away from just a superficial technology change, which could be very easy to do, but to a cultural adaptation connecting to globalization. So that nugget right away told me that digital transformation, the way many of us are using, is somewhat very superficial. Okay? It really has to be deep in our culture, connect to the purpose, and it has to come from internally, and the culture has to change. I'll just give an example. Recently, after my wife nagged a lot, we got a new washer and dryer. And one of the things was it is wireless and I can control with my phone. I read the user manual. I have gone online. We have failed to connect the washer and dryer following instructions, which means somehow, somewhere, somebody must have used an older interface or something to do that. And because of them missing it, they made the paid client feel stupid. And I was this close to impressing my wife. So I'll still make it happen. The thing also, Chitra, I talked about towards the end was thoughts into action, because many a time in the digital transformation world, or even in the bigger business world, we really focus on abundance of ideas. But that was the part, as you defined, the big win comes from taking thoughts to action. That was huge. And finally, I'm really glad I asked him what is the one thing that why companies fail. He connected back to, if you do not see the bigger picture, if you do not see the bigger vision, that's something, you cannot go for that. And again, this interview, I started with my grandma, and today I also want to finish with the grandma thought is my grandma always asked me to aim biggest beyond everything, because she just told me that if you don't aim big, you will not be able to even get to the next level. She told me when you jump so you can touch the moon, at least you're trying. So at least that way you take off and you're not on the ground. So Chithrai, very fascinating again. And all of you, thank you for listening to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen. Please subscribe and share and review the podcast with your friends, and happy listening. Thank you again, Chithrai.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen, founder and CEO of Zen Mango, brand whisperer, top brand growth driver, and a former Fortune 500 executive who has been called one of the most marketing intelligent minds in the business. To learn more, visit www.zenmango.com. Share this podcast with your friends and subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts.